growing up, I would say I felt that it was quite a forgotten place, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't any shine on there. I'll just mention a story, just like, oh yeah, remember this happened. They'll be like, what? And I'll be like, oh wow. And that's when I realized that, okay, that wasn't normal. Whoever I spoke to, I told them like, okay, I got this idea. And the answer that I received is, isn't that something like that already? One thing I want with Tayp is I want people to appreciate somebody's argument. Whether they agree with it or not, I just want them to appreciate how someone can put across.
So for entrepreneurs that do want to start a business in Ghana, what would be your advice to them?
My advice, first things first. You're not defined by where you come from.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big message that I always want to tell people.
Like you have to be able to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
When you grow up in ends, you don't realise it when you're confident, but you have an audacity to do things that ordinarily most people wouldn't be willing to do.
Welcome back to the Takeover Experience. We're in a bit of a new studio today. Having issues with my usual studios, but you know what? We got to change up at times. How you doing today, James?
All good, all good. Been a very busy week, so I'm happy to be able to do something like this.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's good to be here.
It is, yeah. It's good to have these conversations because I've had a busy week as well at work, and I came back from Germany on the weekend.
Oh, cool.
So you know when like you're traveling over the weekend, you pretty much don't have a weekend, right?
Not,
So like you feel like So when I got back, I was tired. It's mad tired, and I had to I was editing as well late Sunday night too because I had to keep up the schedule. So yeah, so what did you get up to today? What was the day like?
Oh, today I was literally just like working non-stop. Plus I have a few other projects that I've got going on outside of work as well. So like after work I was dealing with that. Lunchtime I was dealing with that and just doing a lot of errands as well when it comes to family stuff as well. So it's just been crazy. It's been crazy. But all in all, I'm glad the week is over. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bad to. So, okay. So tell the people, who is James?
Okay. So my name is James Mercer. If you don't know me already, we haven't met, we haven't seen anything I've said. I'm a social media professional. I've been working in social media for around 12 years. It's going to sound weird. And I always say this. I hate to define myself by like what I do, if that makes sense.
Okay. I hate that. Yeah.
But this is just what I happen to be in and what I happen to have expertise in and what I've done for the last 12 years in general. So through doing that, I had an idea around 7 years ago to create an app called Tayp.
Okay, it came 7 years ago.
7 years
I didn't
ago,
know it was that long ago.
Long time ago.
Wow.
So I didn't act on it immediately, and I just told people, whoever I spoke to, I told them like, okay, I got this idea, and the answer that I received is, isn't that something like that already? And that just let me know that, okay, this fits in well with the world and how things are supposed to be.
Yeah.
So from that, the idea did change quite a bit, but I'm actually, so to describe myself, I'm the founder and CEO of Tayp.
Okay.
Which you will be seeing a lot more of.
Okay. Looking forward to that. And we're going to definitely talk a lot about Tayp today. But before we get into that, we want to talk about your story first. Cool. So where are your parents from?
My parents are from Ghana, both of them.
Both from Ghana, yeah. Were you born there? Were you out
I was born here. I was born in Croydon.
Born in Croydon. Okay, so you're from Croydon time. Yeah. Wow, mad. South way, yeah?
Lived there pretty much most of my life.
Yeah.
I'm actually still in Croydon now, just about in Crystal Palace.
Yeah. What was it like for you growing up in Croydon?
Interesting.
It's so funny that people always say interesting. I always find that funny that people say interesting.
Ups and downs. I would say that, okay, growing up, I would say I felt that it's quite a forgotten place, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't any shine on there. I had cousins, and like my brother had a brother that's from another area as well, and like their areas were popping. Everyone was talking about the areas, whereas when you're in Croydon, you just felt like no one really knew what Croydon was until I would say I got to uni, and everyone knew what Croydon was.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
it was just
main of it.
Forgotten place.
It was a forgotten. So a lot of things that did happen.
Yeah, under the radar. Nobody heard
Everything was
about
under
it.
the radar.
Yeah,
under the radar.
Yeah.
And a lot of those stories is funny. You see them coming out now, and it was like, well, okay, now that's common knowledge. Everyone knows about that story. So it in itself, Croydon was a bit of a. It's a bit of an adventure, should I say. What reason I noticed it was weird is because I remember when I was in university, there'll be people from areas that I knew were much worse than Croydon. And then I'll just mention a story, just like, oh yeah, I remember this happened. They'll be like, what? And I'll be like, oh wow. And that's when I realized that, okay, that wasn't normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even at work, you mentioned a story and people were like, like when I was like earlier on, and I thought, okay, I'm never saying that ever again. I'm not talking about these things ever again. So I've basically been almost trained to just not talk about Croydon as much.
It's like it's not indoctrinated. It's like it's just a normal part of life for you, right? Like,
yeah.
I remember when I was young, I heard about Croydon. I'm from like I grew up in South as well. I grew up like mostly like around Camberwell, like Peckham area. Yeah. So I heard about Croydon being from South, right? And don't go there. Mad stuff happens when you're in Croydon.
It's the opposite direction.
That's what they always say.
That's what we say about.
That's what they always say.
We thought Croydon was safe, and your areas is not safe. That's how we saw.
I mean, it's a perspective thing. Would I say where I grew up was safe? I mean, it was all right. There was stuff happened. Yeah,
even down to about I say 4 years ago. Yeah, I would say to my parents, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to a bar in Peckham. You know, I'm gonna get something to eat in Peckham. Everyone would be like, and they'll be like, why are you going there? Like, nah, don't go there. They say, don't go there. It's dangerous. Don't go there. And I'm like, no, it's not like that anymore. It's really nice. It's really
different,
nice.
Right?
And people just don't believe me. They just think that this place is just crazy. But I feel like Croydon's gone in the opposite direction. That's my personal opinion.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like it's getting worse than better. Really?
Yeah. It wasn't as bad. When I was really young, it wasn't as bad. It got worse as I got older.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. That areas should be improving over time and not getting.
Croydon ain't that.
Okay.
I'm just being honest. Backwards gentrification.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so like, did you school in the area as well? Were you like schooling in Croydon? What was that like for you, schooling in Croydon?
My school was fairly a good school. It was a decent school. I wouldn't say that many people came from that school to do quite well, but a couple of people are coming up now, which is really cool. But like, it wasn't really like a popular school in that kind of sense. It wasn't like one of the worst schools. It wasn't the best school either.
Okay, so it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. It was like in the middle.
Very middle. Okay, very
mid
standard school. But it wasn't a school where people go and get good grades either.
Really?
So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a school that you go there and say, oh, that's the alumni of my school. Do this, we do that. Yeah. I was kind of blessed that when I was in year 8, I got sent back to Ghana.
Okay.
Blessed. I don't know how.
I mean, I think it's a blessing.
Yeah, it was a blessing. So I got to. It was an experience. But through that, the school I went to there, that has an alumni. So I kind of knew what the importance of having an alumni is. Okay. So you kind of get back to my school in Croydon. I went back there again, and I realized that this is just school. We just turn up here. Yeah. And we go home. We get an education. It's not anything more than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in university,
in
university, it is more than that.
Yeah.
In university, if you go to Manchester University, you know that this person went there, this person went there. If you go to Oxford or Cambridge, you know what I mean? This person went there. Like if you go to like those posh universities, people ask you what school did you go to, what secondary school did you go to, and that actually matters to them because they went to secondary schools that have an alumni, and they will judge people based off the secondary school that they did attend and go to. Whereas I know the secondary school I went to, it's just a school.
Damn. When you put it like that, it's so interesting. Do you think, like, obviously you grew up in Croydon, you grew up in, and you also went to school in the area. I guess for uni, did you leave London? You did.
Yeah.
Did you feel like, I wanted to get out of Croydon? Was that the feeling?
It was. It's just, I wanted to just get away. In general, from everything. I wanted to get away. It was funny for me is that I never actually visited my uni before going to uni.
Is it?
Yeah. I went to Keele University. So not many people know it.
You know what's so funny?
Wait, Keele. Who told me they went Keele?
Oh, Adrian, Adrian Keele. Yeah, I went
Do you know him from?
I went to uni.
Oh, so you know Adrian from Keele? Oh,
that's how long I've known him. I've known him for
Okay,
years.
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've known him for years. That's how I know him.
Okay. Okay, what's up in Keele? Why did you choose Keele though?
The courses seemed decent, first of all. Yeah.
What was it that you studied?
So I started off studying music technology, yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
sociology. But they were just so different. They were so different. So I just ended up dropping music tech and I just took up education and sociology.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
sociology was my main degree because sociology is just what I was interested in. I just liked it. Just that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what do you do with a sociology degree?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, why did you decide that? What were your parents thinking when you said
you know
that
what,
you were
yeah.
going to do
My
that?
parents. The thing is, when I was in sixth form, yeah, I was getting. I was actually getting A's in sociology. I didn't get an A overall, but I was actually getting A's, and I wasn't getting A's in school like that. When I was getting A's in my, I actually found the subject so fun. Like my teachers found me so annoying, but I'll just be talking all the time. Yeah, I was like, it was just like normal conversations for me. And and this is meant to be part of school. That it didn't feel like I'm studying. It just felt like I'm just having my normal conversations. So, like I said, what do you do with that? So I remember I did a what's it called? A course, and it was about public relations. And what was interesting was when they were talking about what public relations is, what it does. I thought, you know what, like me growing up, the background I come from and a lot of the things that I've seen, I think it would be quite good for me to get involved in marketing, public relations, advertising in the first place. I wanted to get involved in advertising because I watched Boomerang and I just thought, you know, that seems quite fun.
What's
Boomerang?
Boomerang?
The film Boomerang with Eddie Murphy.
I don't know if I know that.
So if anyone's listening in, you've seen
I'm gonna have
Boomerang,
to go
talk
and watch
about
it.
Yeah, you gotta watch Boomerang
For the
man.
culture, what?
Yeah, it's for the culture, 100%.
Okay.
A lot of people probably don't like it. But me, I found it so funny at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Boomerang. I thought I can get into advertising. Then Halle Berry's in it as well.
Okay.
Company with it. It's a good film.
Mad.
Yeah. Well, I found it good. I don't know about anyone else. Yeah. And then when I saw this public relations, I thought this is kind of cool. And then they were talking about a company called Frey Communications.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I want to work there. Yeah. And I left uni and I ended up working there.
What is it about? Was it the film Boomerang that got you into advertising? That's what grabbed you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Because I
that's
thought it
what
was just
grabbed
fun.
you.
So I watched
Yeah.
Boomerang and there was another film called What Women Want with Mel Gibson. And they had advertising in there as well. And I just thought the advertising industry just looked interesting to me.
Yeah.
And this is before Mad Men or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, you know what, just, you know, making something look good. I was a good hype man, put it like that. So I knew I could hype up my friends well. I knew I could hype up anything where I could make something look good. So I thought, you know what, I might as well do, if I get paid to do that, why not? But when you get into it, you find out it's nothing like being a hype man. It's nothing like that now.
Yeah. It's completely different when you, because it's funny because like you say that, right? It's like, I guess it's no different to podcasting, right? Like a lot of people watch a podcast, I love podcasts, I want to start my own podcast, until they go and do it, and then you realize actually the behind the scenes is a lot of effort. You're like, actually, I hate doing all this stuff. I hate the editing. I hate having to script the questions. I hate having to find guests to book, etc., marketing, etc., right? Like
also doing the little snippets, doing it.
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot of work.
A lot of people don't think, they're like, oh yeah, I love that, but then when they're like, oh, actually, I'm really into it.
Yeah.
Is that what happened with you in the end with it? Or?
It's similar, of course.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the reason why I say it's a bit different is because with podcasting, because you have control over it, you're essentially an entrepreneur through being a podcaster.
Yeah.
It's your product. You can do what you like with it. But in advertising, marketing, public relations, social media, whatever I'm involved in, you know, it's not your product. It's not even your agency. Unless you created an agency yourself and done it from there. And even that is difficult in its first place because you need to know how things work and how things run. Some people can just create an agency and find it difficult because they haven't come from the industry. So it's so important to find out things in the industry that's going on. People who don't go through the industry, I think they come with that flair. So say, for example, if you're not educated in a certain way, you come in with a flair that people who are educated are not coming in with. They see things in a set box. Okay. Whereas if you come from the outside, you still have that creativity that you can actually change things. And I feel like the industry really does cherish that. But at the same time, it always gets to a point whereby you need to know how to do accounts. You need to know how to actually quote time. You know, to quote or quote for projects. You have to understand what's going to happen before you do a shoot. You have to understand all kinds of different things that if you're not coming up from the bottom, you're not really gonna get it as much. And as well, it's a lot of admin. hell of a lot of admin.
A lot of admin.
So much admin.
Okay.
When you're at the bottom, like you have to doing stuff
Yeah.
like taking lists, doing all this sort of stuff there. And a lot of people, you're coming into an industry thinking that I want to do something really fun. You know, if I wanted to make money, I could have gone into banking, but I'm coming into advertising or marketing so that I can do something really fun.
Yeah.
And then you get in there and after like, you know what? Do this job here, do this there, like no, write this there, write that there, and you'll probably be disappointed. But as I say, all I say is that that doesn't matter. I think people should just still brave through it.
Yeah.
And if you can be entrepreneurial with it, be entrepreneurial with it, just like you are, like with the podcast and that sort of stuff. So that's my belief.
Okay, that's cool. I love that. Okay, let's talk about Tayp, right? So
Yeah.
Tayp. So you mentioned at the beginning that it was like an idea that came up 7
Yeah.
years ago. For those that don't know, what is Tayp?
So Tayp is a social media network that is based off voice notes with a limit of 90 seconds.
Okay.
So what actually happened was when I was working at an agency, a PR agency years ago, I used to be on WhatsApp groups and like my friends would be sending like messages and that sort of stuff. And the ones who did like jobs with their hands, you know, they would send voice notes. And I couldn't really listen to these voice notes because I'm not gonna. This is before WhatsApp web. I wasn't gonna take my headphones out of my computer and put it into my phone and start listening. So I just had to just not get involved. Then one day I had a day off work, and I started listening to these voice notes and sending them, and I was just really enjoying myself. I thought this is cool. And I was thinking, social media itself, I remembered there was an account we were working on and someone made a suggestion and it just got battered from left, right, center. And I just realized social media is just such a cool place.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, how can I alleviate that, get around that? And I thought this is not podcast. So this tape idea that I have here, this voice note idea that I have is the best way to get around that, because with the voice is a lot more authentic. It's a lot more empathetic. It's a completely different mode of people communicating with each other.
Yeah.
And plus having a limit means that people can actually sit down and listen. And the 90-second limit that we got, we want to make sure that we know that if you get a voice note that's over 90 seconds, you look at it and think this is a podcast. I'm not gonna play that. Like you just think this is long.
Yeah.
But 90 seconds is still long enough for you to get your point across.
I love that, man. 90 seconds defo long enough to get your point across, because you want it to be short, snappy, and for people to just go through it like straight away.
But one thing as well, 90 seconds is a limit. It's not a target.
Okay.
So,
what are you thinking it's going to be like?
No, I mean,
normally?
it's not
You think it's going to be 20, 30 seconds normal on average?
Depends on what the person wants to achieve.
Okay.
And the things I don't know, I need to get when users are
that's
using
gonna
it
be
and there's more
interesting.
information coming through, we'll know. The people will decide that.
Yeah. What? Because obviously you had the idea for 7 years. But when did you think it was the right time to be like, okay, cool, now I'm gonna do it? Because we all have ideas, to be honest.
No, I
Pandemic,
started
okay.
before the pandemic.
Okay.
And before, so it's in different iterations. And I remember at some point I was trying to get other people involved and doing all sorts of stuff there. And I found out there was a lot of cooks in the kitchen and then things just weren't moving. I had to restart all over again in different forms and that sort of stuff to make sure that it can be as nimble and as quick as possible. Now I think I've got a great team.
Okay.
But what happened was when I saw there was audio social media coming out, and I saw
Was there?
Clubhouse. And
Okay,
that sort of
Clubhouse.
stuff
Okay,
there.
cool.
It's not the same thing, obviously.
No, it's not. No.
But I was thinking, is it the same thing? Do you know what I mean? And my heart was like, nah. What my idea? I didn't make it happen. This was a problem. Then when I actually used Clubhouse and I saw how different it was, I thought, nah, it's cool. I'm fine. yeah. But I also knew that I need to make it. I need to get a move on.
Okay.
So he also taught me I need to get a move on at the same time.
Okay, that's a good message. I like the fact that you said that, because you actually you felt some type of way when you went another social media. So that was confirmation. Actually, this is something you really want to do. Yeah. But you were kind of not maybe dragging your heels. Sometimes you need that kick up.
It definitely did.
Like,
it did give me a kick up the ass, because I got a new job at that time during the pandemic. I started working somewhere brand new during the pandemic, and I had Tayp going whilst I had this job at the same time.
Right, okay.
So it was interesting doing a new job and doing this Tayp thing at the same time, and just juggling both. So for me, because I was in a new environment, everything was new. So I had to kind of like structure my life in a completely different way. And from there on, my life has been about Tayp. I left that job to start freelancing.
Okay.
Because I knew I needed more time to do Tayp. So I'll freelance for a while, make sure I got enough money to be able to bootstrap. And then I'll take some time off.
Okay. How much time were you taking?
I take off months if I need
Really?
to. Yeah.
Okay.
I take off like 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
And just spend it just on Tayp.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stack up enough and I'll take off 2 to 3 months to spend it just on Tayp. Yeah.
That's good. And what you mentioned your team. What's the size of your team at the moment?
So my team at the moment in the UK, my team is 5.
Wait, you got people in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the UK, that's an executive team.
Okay, you're executive.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's break this down.
Yeah.
So you got executive UK team. What's that like? Your CMO, CTO?
Yeah, CMO, CTO, that sort of stuff.
Okay, you got all of that. Okay,
all of that.
cool.
So the CTO obviously is my co-founder, and that's very important because he's a technical guy, isn't it? And he's a guy that deals with all of that sort of stuff. Then the team in Ghana, developers.
Okay.
And marketing people as well.
Okay, you got marketing and developers in Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reason being just to make sure that people, the conversation's going on out there,
Okay.
and just making sure that and handing out socials as well,
Okay.
and the community and that sort of stuff. And developers for obvious reasons, maintenance of the app, and as well building the app and making sure it's in its place.
Why did you choose Ghana for the obviously we've spoken about it, but you know, for the listeners and watchers, why did you decide to choose, you know, Ghana as a place where you kind of want to launch it first and kind of build your community there and also have employees there as well?
So there's numerous reasons for that. There's pluses and minuses, obviously. So as you know, everybody do go to Ghana 30 December over, you know, over the Christmas period. And there's a lot of influential people that are there. So we wanted to launch it there. So when it creates its hype, the influential people that are there around that time can use it and then go back to the respective countries that they're going to and then say, I saw this app called Tayp and it was really cool. In terms of staff, there's a buzzing tech atmosphere in Ghana at this moment in time. Buzzing. A friend of mine called Kosia Annabelle, she runs a conference called Tech in Ghana as well.
Okay.
Plus Ghana, they got Google there. Twitter was there.
Big.
Yeah, Twitter was there. Twitter have left.
To go where?
I don't know. They're just. I don't want to go. I don't.
I don't want to know.
Bad. It was bad. Like the way they handled that situation.
Yeah, that's not good, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong with them?
So Jack Dorsey's there quite a lot. There's a lot of other tech companies that are looking to get involved in Ghana.
Okay.
So I wanted to get involved before they get there.
Yeah.
My ambitions are very high.
Okay.
I hope that like I'm able to get my offices in a place that isn't in the capital, place a bit off. So essentially others could follow me. And
okay, so
we can
build like your own Silicon Valley in a part of Ghana. That's not Accra.
That would be great.
Okay.
That would be great.
Okay.
That would be great. If that happens, I would love that.
Okay.
Well,
that's interesting. When you thinking about launching the app, do you have a timeline?
So currently, at this moment in time, we're doing a reassess. Reason being because there was one bug that was really trying to get over. Mess it up. So as soon as we've looked into that, then I can really get a proper time as to when it's going to come out. But what I would say is definitely going to be in this quarter of the year. Okay. So we're just looking to roll it out bit by bit. We're not going to do some big launch. Because if you really think about it, do you remember when Instagram launched?
I don't remember when it launched. It probably launched before I knew about it. How I heard about it was through one of my work colleagues. Have you seen this app? Yeah. I remember the exact conversation we had. Man, Rick Ross is on here. Yeah, man, he's posting pictures. Yeah. It feels like so alien. Yeah. But back then, obviously, when we used to see celebrities or all these people was through newspapers. We never used to be so close to them. Now we kind of, let me not say take it for granted because it's not about idolizing people, but
of course.
It wasn't like that before. Do you know what I mean? So when that came out, that was news. Like, okay, what's this app
Instagram thing
to post pictures? Like, you don't think anything of it. Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to sign up. All right, start posting pictures. Then all your friends start. Like, okay, cool. Snapchat. I don't remember Snapchat. Again, it was probably word of mouth. Like again at uni, people somebody said, we're all using this thing that expires. Yeah, let's do it.
Of course, but that's the thing. Apart from like this Threads thing, like. It's not normal. What Threads has done is not normal. Like nobody, like Threads has only done that because it's
Of
all
current
it's
social
yeah,
media.
it's current social media.
Yeah.
It's from a Meta, so they're able to
Yeah.
launch it. But usually a social media app, you don't remember its launch. It just grows organically, bit by bit. You find out when you find out. You find out when someone tells you. Someone could be listening to this this podcast in about 5 years' time
It's true.
and be like, I like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, someone might have an idea to
Yeah.
create their own social media app, and they're listening to all social media app creators.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, I want to see what James Mercer has to say. Then they go back to listen to an interview from years ago, and they see me having this convo right now.
Yeah.
I know I did that with the Instagram guys and everyone
enough.
else. So, you know,
I mean, that's what you got to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's what it's about. Okay,
Yeah.
so describe the app a little bit to me. So you're saying it's voice notes. Obviously, you don't want to give the game away too much, right? So we can talk a little bit about it. So what's it going to be, like a feed of voice
Yeah.
notes?
so whoever you follow would
Yeah.
appear on your homepage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll just see a voice note from them.
Yeah. So you press autoplay,
Yeah.
then it plays all the voice notes
Oh,
of the people
mad.
that you follow.
Okay.
So you can just have it.
and
in
can you
your-
respond to them?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. respond to
Okay,
them.
that's
But
quite interesting.
the reason why that autoplay thing works is so
Yeah.
that you can be a passive user in that
Okay.
sense. So say, for example, if you're on the tube or you're on a train and you just want to just listen to some content,
Yeah.
and like you don't want to look at your phone because you're squeezed up against everybody, you just run tape, press autoplay, and just listen to content
Yeah.
come through. Don't like one, skip it, whatever. There will also be topics.
Okay.
Topics are an explore page. So on the explore page, are different topics. So say, for example, if there's a topic called Savvy Wallet,
Yeah. Big up, Savvy
yeah,
Wallet.
there you go. You can just press autoplay, and it'll
Okay.
just play like 90-second snippets
Okay.
of each of your different podcasts, different
Yeah.
podcasts, different gems from the
Okay.
podcast, and someone can be like, yeah,
Oh, that's
I follow
very
that.
interesting. Yeah, that could
Yeah.
definitely work because
Yeah.
I could just do like all the snippets I can do. It's very easy for me to convert that into audio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
simple. It's so
Yeah.
simple.
there you go.
Okay, wow, I love that. I really like that idea, and I think it's something that I would use because I love listening to podcasts while I'm in the gym, and I think I also prefer the audio stuff slightly more just because I'm able to do other stuff. I can drive,
Yeah.
go to the gym, I could go for a walk, I can work, I could do other stuff, do you know what I
There
mean?
you
Travel and
There you go.
whatnot.
That's one of the main things as well for each person multitask. We want to be on like your Amazon Echo.
Yeah.
We want to be on your Google Home.
Mm.
You know, we want to be able to.
Okay, so you want to go into all of them?
Yeah, your
that
Android
would be big.
Auto. So whilst you're driving, you can be interacting with this.
Yeah.
Want it to be voice recognition. Want to add voice recognition to it as well. Want it to be something that you can use like quite easy. You can get involved in quite easily. You don't want to step on anyone's toes because
Yeah.
obviously, like if you are a podcast, as you said, you can put podcast information for people to listen to the full thing.
Yeah.
If it's music, you can put snippets of music and say listen to the full thing. If it's a radio show, you can say, look, we're going to be discussing this later on in the radio show. You can listen to it.
That's quite smart,
You know,
yeah.
and those are just examples. There's other things that it could be a topic about football.
Okay.
And one thing we're going to add as well is debates, and we can't wait till that debates bit comes.
Okay.
I don't really want to give that away too much,
Yeah,
but
no,
the
that's
way in
all
which that
good.
would work though
Yeah.
is things will go back and forth.
Oh,
So
right,
it would
okay.
be like Arsenal versus Man United.
Yeah. Arsenal win.
Man United.
How about Arsenal?
Man United fans say this, Arsenal fans say
Yeah.
that, and it just goes back and forth. So you can just hear that and start
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And
So
you can get
okay.
involved in custom Man United.
Yeah,
fans.
I definitely would. Look, listeners, watchers, I'm a mad Arsenal fan, you know, just because you see me chilled here.
Nah.
So how are you planning to like make money off it? Is it gonna
Yeah.
be like, you know, to be fair, most social media apps is really
Yeah.
ads or they're selling data.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, Facebook, I know that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
So-
much all of them.
Yeah, I pretty much all of the above really.
Yeah.
But obviously in early days there will be different things that we will go into and look into as to how
Yeah.
we could reward the user.
Okay. That's what I saw, yeah.
However, because that is the way social media is going. That's the direction which it's going. However, the first way we'll monetize is by having sponsored topics.
Okay.
So, say for example, say there's a Sainsbury's around the corner. Yeah, I've used this example a few times. Sainsbury's is launching a new product. It's a bagel. So the new Sainsbury's bagel, but it's only in that Sainsbury's around the corner. They can geo-target the area, and then they can say that we've got this bagel. We want to hear what you've got to say about it.
Yeah.
Leave it in a voice note on this sponsored topic.
Okay.
And that sponsored topic would be at the top of the person's topics.
Okay.
So they can click on it
That's
and they can
interesting.
start to leave their opinion on
Yeah.
that bagel and say, you know what, that bagel was nasty, or you know what, I
Yeah.
really like that bagel. And they
Yeah.
can give Sainsbury's the idea whether they want to roll it out wide or not. So that's where Tayp plans to become the world's largest focus group. Tayp plans to become the world's largest focus group.
So, so that's what you're more focusing on. Because
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, how are companies going to interact with this? Like, do you feel like it's more for them to try and advertise, or do you feel like they're also going to use it? Because to be fair, these days I'm even seeing companies use TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them like like Experian. I've been seeing them like, you know, get quite active in terms of like teaching people about like personal finance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So do you envisage
Oh,
that
yeah.
companies would
I'd
like,
love that
start
too.
sending like
No,
90-second voice notes? Yeah?
I want that too.
Mad.
I'd want that. Obviously, you want that. You want news bulletins.
Yeah.
You want like one of the most powerful things about Twitter was that politicians made announcements on Twitter.
That's true. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if you saw all the people quitting and that sort of stuff, it was on Twitter. That is a very powerful form of media. That's the reason why I know that Mark Zuckerberg was probably looking at that thinking, I want that on Facebook, I want that on this, I want that. And it wasn't happening. So that's the reason why they made Threads. He's done it now. He's done it now. But at the time, it wasn't happening.
True.
Now he's had to actually make a Twitter for it to happen.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't going to happen any other way. I don't think I need to make a Twitter for that to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's going to be something for politics, but in a sense, if they want to use it for that, you know, and it gets to that point, then that would be great as well. You're talking about advertising. So we mentioned earlier about the debates. So if Arsenal and Man United are going back and forth, that's a place that people can start to bid for ads in between those conversations, and just really short ads. So something just saying the odds on Arsenal to win at this, the odds on Man United to win at this. Place your bet on blah blah blah.
Okay, wow, I like the idea. And you know, you talk about Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram. This guy copies everything. Stories copied from Snapchat. Reels copied from TikTok. Now Threads copied from Twitter, and then bought out Instagram.
Yeah.
So it seems that the only thing that he hasn't done actually, or they haven't done, is Clubhouse for some reason. They were like, okay, but Twitter did.
They did. They're about to.
Oh, were they about to?
I think I heard that they're about to. He started his own Clubhouse platform to see what it's like, see what it's saying. I probably bid for Clubhouse. I think Clubhouse should have taken that bid, if you ask me. But that's just me. Like, he bid for Snapchat. Snapchat said no.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Snapchat is still going. It's not like it used to be.
Snapchat's for the younger demographic.
Yeah.
It's funny because it stayed young somehow, because Snapchat came out when I was in uni, right? And for some reason, as I've grown out of it, it's like the demographic has gotten even younger than when I was at uni. I don't know how they managed to do it, but it's weird because I'm sure that, the people that was adopting it was us at uni. But then it's somehow, It's
true, but at the same time, it's different. There are different users people use it differently in different countries as well. So in some countries, people are actually active Snapchat users in an older demographic. In that here, we just don't necessarily use Snapchat like that. I don't really use Snapchat myself, but I know how it works. You know what I mean? But at the same time, so what was I saying in terms of like different apps and purchasing stuff? I think to survive in social, you need to have your own culture.
Yeah.
You know, Twitter survived for years. They got their own culture. Obviously, right now it's changing into something else, but it's just having that own culture that keeps you relevant in my perspective. And Tayp has its own culture, so yeah, we are where we are.
Did you say when it will launch? I don't know if I
No.
Okay, cool. You're keeping that on the you're keeping that on the right. Okay.
I don't want to say, because one thing is that I have said before, and we've launched and we pulled it back.
Oh, did you? You actually pulled it back?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to just let it happen rather than say anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I hear that at the right time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously there's a dark side to to social media, right?
Yeah.
You know, people getting cancelled.
Of course.
People getting anxiety, being cyberbullied, being discriminated, even, and then there's even a point where like content gets curated. And what I mean by that is that obviously with like Instagram, even if you got 3,000 followers, they're not showing it to all 3,000. They're showing it to like 10%, right?
Yeah.
That gets curated, right? So how you gonna like combat that? Because I feel like your platform, like Instagram, is very different.
Yeah.
now than it was when it first started. A lot of people complain, oh, the algorithm is not chronological, blah, blah, blah. Same with Twitter, all of the social medias, they've all changed over time.
Yeah.
I guess how are you going to combat all those kind of issues?
Of course, that we're a lot earlier. So therefore, when we are launching, we're not going to have as many users. So people are going to have the capacity to go through every single piece of content that is there. But as time goes on, there's going to be more content than people can consume at that given time. And then the fight then becomes, how are people going to be viewed? How are people going to get their content viewed? How are you going to get people to actually see your content? But through having stuff like debates, topics, it gives people a chance to discover people that they don't know and follow people that they don't know as well. In terms of algorithms, we're definitely going to use artificial intelligence to be able to tell what people like and serve them what they like, the kind of content that they actually do want to see, rather than just giving people
so like a TikTok kind of
like a TikTok kind of vibe. I think that, if you ask me, that's the best algorithm in the world.
I think so too, because I was going to ask you actually about that. Like, I feel like a lot of people become content creators because of the app, because of being able to become viral. Like, I feel like each platform has its own set of users that become viral. Like when TikTok came out, we had new social media stars there. Instagram, same thing. So I guess with Tayp, do you think that there will be that element of
100%?
Yeah, okay.
100%. One thing I want with Tayp is I want people to appreciate somebody's argument, whether they agree with it or not. I just want them to appreciate how someone can put across an argument or put across a point. Do you know what I mean? I might completely disagree with a point, but the way he put it across, I'm like, okay, this guy's quite intelligent, quite a good point. So I want that to be like both ways. One of the things about Tayp now is that we notice that we live in a world that is more polarized than ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? More polarized than ever. And we think that's because people aren't listening to each other. And a voice note, there's no interruptions. So you just talk and people can actually listen to what the person has to say, so it's actually finished and heard. So we want it to have a culture of people not judging people in that sense and just like actually listen to what people actually have to say.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of content we like.
Okay. I get that, to be honest, and I agree with you. Like, it's definitely more polarizing, and I think a lot of people don't like to listen. People like to only listen to people that they agree with. And I always say this, right? I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to be controversial, but if you always listen to people that you agree with, how do you grow?
Yeah.
Right? How can somebody... What I'm trying to say is that we're not always right? So if there's somebody that has a different perspective to you, you may be wrong. I'm not saying you are, but there's potentially that you could be... That there's a potential that you could be wrong. So you can introspect, you get what I mean?
100%. I don't necessarily think that there are people, I don't know, there are some, but there's not that many people in this world who you disagree with literally everything that this person, like, I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, you might agree with 5% what that person's saying and disagree with 95%. Why don't you look into that 5%? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think people are way too hung up on our differences rather than our similarities.
Yeah.
So I feel like similarities are a place to start, but in the sense that I feel like if people put their similarities in an argument with your differences, then you can start to dissect it a bit different and start to understand why did they have that difference. And if you can explain your difference and they can think the same way, then that's where the dialogue begins.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. I'm looking forward to seeing how the app comes, and I think it could be a hit. And the only thing I'm worried for you is if this Mark Zuckerberg, man, they see it, like, look, we're gonna take some of that.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
The reason why I say that, because imitation and recognition sometimes is the biggest flattery. It's biggest flattery. Like, we're small right now. Like, we're really small. If we're noticed by bigger apps and bigger stuff, it just shows that we're doing something right.
Yeah.
And you cannot... So, for example, when Spaces first came out, lots of people have Twitter accounts, right? Yeah. Not many people have Clubhouse accounts. So people that were on Android were like, okay, I can use this Spaces thing, but I can't use Clubhouse. So Clubhouse were already behind because they couldn't capture the Android audience. What I noticed is that Clubhouse still had a culture that you can't find on Spaces.
Yeah.
On Twitter, this is the place where people say things that goes viral and then they lose their jobs. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone's like, oh, I saw your tweets from 10 years ago. You done that, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? They can pull them up, all of that. On Clubhouse, it's just a conversation. It's just a lot more of a conversation. People interrupting each other. You hear something, one mic.
Yeah.
You hear all of that. But it's a lot more of a, you know what I mean? It's a lot more of a, yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot more of just a convo. And they have that culture. So the culture of the app is what keeps the app going. I mean, people don't use Clubhouse as much as they used to, but it's not dead.
Yeah, no,
It's
definitely not. It's definitely alive and thriving, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to talk about, because obviously you've, you know, part of your business is in Ghana. You know, talk about a bit of the challenges of, you know, starting a business there, and whilst you're here in the UK.
So having staff that work remotely, very difficult. Plus at the same time, in Ghana, the exchange rate goes up and down. So what the value of the money was yesterday is completely different to the value of the money the other day, which affects your staff and it also affects you as well. So you might be calm and comfortable with how much you're paying right now. Then the next month, the exchange rate changes and the value of the money goes even higher. And after you're like, oh man. So last month, like my payroll was 800 quid. This month, my payroll is $1,000. And it can just it can fluctuate like that. That's how, do you know what I mean? So it's a bit mad. That's just some of the challenges. Another challenge is getting your company registered. I remember when I got it registered, it was a bit difficult, it was tough. Luckily I knew people that could do that for me. But then after I wanted to get a DUNS number. So I messaged, it's like a number you need if you want to get your app on the App Store.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's a business number, especially Duns and Bradstreet, I think it's called, or something like that. And I messaged Duns and Bradstreet in every country in the world. Okay. Yeah, so I messaged the one in Ghana, which is the one in Nigeria. They work with the one in Nigeria as well, as like Ghana, Nigeria. And I told them, okay, can I get my DUNS number? And they were like, yeah, you have to pay us like, you know, $400 and we'll get it for you. I was like, huh?
What, so like bribery?
No, I don't know.
That's
all I know,
like bribery.
Yeah, all I know is that I registered the business
Legal
in
bribery.
the UK. Yeah, I registered business in the UK, yeah. And then I asked for my DUNS number from Duns Bradstreet. He just sent it to me for free. Yeah, simple.
Yeah, that's bribery, man.
But I just like, I mean, they just don't. Sometimes they just like. Here's the issue. I find that a lot of times, I don't know if it's just. I can't speak for the rest of Africa, innit? I can't speak for the rest of Africa. But what I can say for in Ghana is a lot of times, people don't value repeat business.
Okay.
They want to try and get the most out of every tiny transaction. Like it's a problem. It's a problem. And I hope
not thinking long term, thinking very short term. Yeah.
They think this is the last time I can get money from this person. So I'm gonna rinse
scarcity mindset, innit?
Yeah.
Rather than give them the best customer service, make them feel and actually I'll get a lot of money from them over the long term.
Of course. If someone done that, they would make a lot of money out there, you know. A lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, there's people there that they undercut the market, you're gonna make so much money in these countries. And now I would do that straight as soon as I got the chance.
So for entrepreneurs that do want to start a business in Ghana, what would be your advice to them?
My advice, first things first, undercut the market, because it's easy to do that. Your supplier, if they notice that you're undercutting the market, they might want to up their prices, but try and find yourself a good supplier or do things from the ground yourself so that you never have to face that issue. That's the first thing I say if you're doing business in Ghana. That is just a no-brainer. The other thing I'd say is like my business itself is a global business, but it's just based in Ghana, and I'm just doing it from there. Yeah. But I would say that if you're not doing that, do something that makes sense for the country that you're in, that makes sense for the environment that you're doing the business in. So do something that makes sense for Ghana, do something that makes sense for Nigeria, do something that makes sense for Congo, wherever you're doing business. Like, what's the need that's there? And you have to go out there first and actually feel it before you do it.
How long were you there for before you?
I just visited every year. Every year. I was visiting every year, and I'd spend like 2 weeks. Then after I started spending about a month, then I started spending about a couple months. I went to school in Ghana, as I mentioned earlier. So that allowed me to have an alumni, or go to school with an alumni and have friends out there already that can help me. Have helped me quite a lot. And it just set me in an easier path. you have to have a network out there.
Yeah.
You have to. It's vital to have a network out there, and that network has done a lot for me. Plus, I have a big family, so that helps me as well to be able to get in certain things when I need to get that done.
That makes sense. I love that. So okay, so you've been an entrepreneur for a while, right? And especially when you're starting your startup, there's so much to do.
Yeah.
Right. And now you've been doing this for a while. I guess in terms of focus, what would you say when starting out your business? What should be like the main focus? What should be the things that you should focus most on?
I think the number one thing is starting out as you plan to go in the future. There will never be perfection.
Okay.
That's not going to happen. So you have to just go and steamroll and keep it and move. That's probably the most thing, moving. But if you can like create a system that helps things as you're in the future early on before things get hectic, I suggest doing that. So for example, with me, one thing that I wish that I did and one thing that I do now is just making sure that you're like when I'm doing stuff in Ghana and like how I'm doing stuff in terms of like tax and make sure income tax on my staff are paid and that sort of stuff. Get into a system of getting that covered and knowing and having that ready from early rather than saying, okay, no, like they won't tell you, look, pay it now. They'll say that you can pay it later, you can do that later. Get into the system of doing that from early and make sure all your accounts are in order from early is something that I would recommend everybody to do.
Okay.
Something like that. Just creating good habits from early and just sticking to them. Do you know what I mean? So for me, like there were some habits, I created some good habits, some habits I didn't create and I've had to fix along the way. Okay. I recommend that everybody does that, create good habits early. That's my thing.
Love that. Thank you, James. What you got planned next for yourself?
So you have to. I want everybody that's on this to go on Tayp.app, TAYP.app, and sign up to the newsletter.
Okay.
That way we can keep you up to date and informed, and as well you can be one of the first people to get your own handle.
Okay.
And that we just want to get everybody on the app when it comes out as soon as possible. We need to be on there. We need to have your
of course. Yeah. I'm gonna definitely sign up
now.
to that. Yeah. Then people that listen watching can like follow as well. Okay. Love that. And that's going to be the main focus. Obviously, trying to launch this as soon as possible. Yeah.
ASAP.
Okay.
ASAP.
Working.
We're not playing. We want this out. Like we want you using it quick, as soon as possible. That's what I want. Yeah.
I'm loving that. And I guess where can people find you?
So you can find me on right now. Probably best to find me on LinkedIn, James Mercer, or on Instagram, j.bankole Mercer, spelled BANKOLE.
Okay.
Mercer MERCER. Find me on Instagram and on LinkedIn.
Cool.
Probably my two most active platforms.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been great having this conversation with you, and I definitely want to have a follow-up conversation like after you launch, a few months after, just to see what the response is like, just to see like how you're kind of responding to feedback, how your app's changing and all of that sort of stuff, and just like seeing how people's like taking it in as well. It's going to be very interesting to see what that's like. Yeah,
it'll be very, very different. I'll be in a completely different place.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm well aware of that.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, you're chilled now, but when it comes out, you might be a bit stressed. I
mean, the thing is, I think just the way in which I approach stress in general, I present myself as being chilled, even though I might be stressed underneath. I'm like a what's it called? A swan.
Okay.
Underneath the ground.
Swan.
But on top, I'm like,
cool.
That's it. Yeah.
Man, okay, cool. I hear that. All right. So do you have any final words for the listeners and watchers?
Yeah. What I would say is if you could do a business outside of the UK and in the UK at the same time, I would recommend that for anybody. And I'd recommend that you do travel and see how businesses operating around the world and be as global as you can, because it's a big world out here, man. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
It's great. It's great having this conversation with you, James. Like I said, definitely want to have you again. What you're doing is admirable. First, because you're starting a social media app. That's not no easy feat, man. That's difficult. Second, you're looking to launch it in Africa. I love that. Like Africa first. I think that's quite important. I think we need our own. Like I know that there's a few unicorns, but we need more. We need way more unicorns there. We need the power's all concentrated in Europe and in America. We need a hub in Africa as well. And I feel like once you get the one or two, that then drives more business and investment there. So I wish you all the luck in the world and all the blessings. And like I said, man, I know that I've listened to you on other podcasts, and I know that you're very driven about this. So I know that you'll definitely you'll go very far with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you accomplish with it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So watchers, listeners, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Takeaway Experience, and we'll see you next week's episode.